Welcome, everyone. Lance Scurv X here for the Scurv podcast. You know, there's so many layers to our being that some of them we allow them to be public, to our inner circle, and the general public. And there's some things that we ponder that are extremely private that we can oftentimes hide from the world. And this is one of these topics that I wanted to touch on a human nature level. And maybe someone out here can understand and it could bring you a sense of awareness on why it happened. Many people have asked me about emotional type situations, relationships, and heartache. Nobody asked me anything about relationships that are working out fine when they have relationships working out fine. But oftentimes when the hurt comes, they have questions. And because I've always been that one that you can approach and ask anything, and I'm going to give you an honest answer, well, I've been always that guy. So I have no problem in general not calling names, not putting anybody else's business out there, because this is not one request. This over the years has been a multiple request type situation. So it's not one person. But I decided to do an update on my awareness on how things go. And I kind of flowed with the words and my thoughts and my notes. So at some point during this, let me know if it connected with you. But we're going to do it like this. Have you ever met someone who didn't just walk into your life, but walked straight into your soul? I'm talking about the kind of person who felt familiar in a way that made absolutely no sense. Like you knew them before the first conversation. Like their presence reached inside your chest and turned on lights in rooms you forgot existed. And yet, at the very same time, they felt like comfort and chaos all at once. They felt like home and heartbreak. Some people come into your life gently, like a warm breeze on a quiet afternoon. But every now and then, someone shows up like lightning, sudden, powerful, electric. Their presence shakes your world so deeply that after they leave, nothing about you is the same again. Your smile changes. Your silence changes. Even the way you see life itself begins to shift. Because what they left behind was not emptiness, it was awakening. Most people think every powerful connection is supposed to last forever. We've been trained by movies, fairy tales, and romantic fantasies to believe that if love is real, it stays. If someone leaves, then the relationship must have failed. But life doesn't always work that way. Sometimes the most powerful people who enter your life were never meant to stay in the first place, but we didn't realize that. Sometimes they arrive to wake you up. Before them, you might have been moving through life on autopilot, smiling on the outside while carrying confusion on the inside, following routines that felt safe, but also strangely empty. You thought you understood who you were. Then they showed up. Suddenly, old wounds came to the surface. Dreams you buried long ago began whispering again. Emotions you had ignored for years started demanding your attention. And the strange part was, they saw you. Maybe for the first time in your life, someone looked into your eyes and recognized something deeper than the surface. But the connection didn't last. Not because it wasn't real, but because its purpose was different. There is a harsh truth about certain relationships that many people are afraid to face. Not everyone who touches your soul is meant to stay in your life. Some people are messengers. They arrive to hold up a mirror so you can finally see yourself. When someone triggers that level of emotion inside of you, it's not random. It means something deep within you has been activated. Your fears, your wounds, your hidden strengths, your buried dreams. They didn't come to complete you. They came to reveal you. That's why the connection felt so powerful. Not because it was meant to last forever, but because it was meant to wake something up inside you that had been asleep for many, many years. When two people connect on a deep level, something powerful begins to happen inside both of them. It's like two chemicals mixing together. Once they touch, both substances change forever. That's exactly how certain connections work. When this person came into your life, something ancient inside you responded. It wasn't just emotion, it was recognition. You didn't simply meet them. A part of you remembered them. Their presence stirred feelings that felt older than the relationship itself. Their voice stayed in your mind long after conversations ended. It felt mysterious, even spiritual. But here's the truth many people struggle to accept. That level of connection is not always meant to create comfort. Sometimes it creates transformation. When someone awakens that much emotion inside of you, they often act as a mirror. And you know what? Mirrors don't lie. They show you things you've been avoiding. They reveal the fears you hide behind your confidence, the wounds buried beneath your strength, the habits you developed just to survive. You thought they broke your heart, but what really happened was deeper. They exposed parts of you that were already hurting. And once those wounds are exposed, they cannot be ignored anymore. Pain forces awareness. Awareness creates change, and change leads to growth. Our world is obsessed with permanence. People believe if love ends, then it must have been fake. But sometimes the most real connections are the ones that don't last. They burn bright, they shake your life, they open your eyes, then they leave. Not because they didn't care, but because their role was already complete. They came to ignite something inside you, and once that fire was lit, your journey had to continue without them. After someone like this leaves your life, the mind keeps asking the same painful question. Why? Why did I meet them if they weren't meant to stay? But that question keeps your focus on the wrong place. The real question is much more powerful. What did they awaken inside of me? Maybe they awakened your courage to stop settling. Maybe they reminded you of dreams you had forgotten. Maybe they forced you to confront wounds that had controlled your life for years. Whatever it was, that awakening matters far more than the relationship itself. Many people spend their lives simply surviving. They go to work, they follow routines, they carry responsibilities, but deep inside, something feels asleep. Then one powerful connection appears and suddenly everything changes. Emotions rise, truth surfaces, your soul begins asking questions you avoided for years. And once that awakening begins, there is no going back to the old version of yourself. Real transformation rarely arrives politely. It arrives through disruption, through heartbreak, through experiences that force you to confront the truth about your life. Pain is often the doorway to growth. It breaks the illusions we built to protect ourselves. It forces us to see who we really are and what we truly need. That's why certain relationships hurt so deeply, because they are not just emotional experiences, they're initiations. Many people make the mistake of holding on to the fantasy of the relationship instead of the lesson it brought. They replay memories. They wonder what could have been. They wait for the other person to return. But healing doesn't come from waiting. It comes from integration. Integration means carrying the wisdom forward without clinging to the past. You don't hold on to the person. You hold on to the awakening. They were never the destination. They were just the spark. Looking back, you may realize something powerful. That connection didn't destroy you. It revealed you. It exposed the strength you didn't know you had. It forced you to grow beyond the limitations you once accepted. And maybe that was the real purpose all along. Some people arrive in your life just to walk beside you for decades. Others arrive to change you forever in a matter of moments. Both types matter, but the second type only leaves the deepest mark on your soul. If you're still thinking about someone who changed you deeply, understand something important. You're not crazy for feeling that connection. You're merely human. And experiences like that often mark turning points in our lives. But the greatest lesson is this: you were never meant to lose yourself chasing someone else. You were meant to rediscover yourself through the experience. They didn't come to complete your story. They came to remind you that the real story was always inside you. And once that truth wakes up inside your soul, life will never look the same again. Some people enter our lives to walk beside us for years. Others appear only long enough to change the direction of our entire journey. At first, that kind of ending can feel like loss. It can feel like something precious was taken away before it had the chance to fully grow. But time has a way of revealing deeper truths. Sometimes the person you couldn't keep gave you the greatest gift you will ever receive: a deeper understanding of yourself. They showed you strength. They showed you your strength. They revealed your wounds. They awakened parts of your soul that had been sleeping for far too long. And once that awakening begins, your life starts moving in a new direction, one that is guided less by fear and more by truth. So instead of asking why they left, ask what they help you discover, because in the end, the universe rarely sends people to complete your life. It sends them to awaken the life that was already waiting inside of you. I'm going to end it at that. If you need to replay it, replay it. If you need to share it, share it. These words came to me on a divine level, and I had to share them, because they also meant a whole lot for me also when I look back over my life. And those times that we wonder where our old friends are, where our old relationship partners were, not because we want them back, but we just want to know that they're all right, and we just want to thank them for the fact that they came into our lives. And I tell you one thing, very personal for me. There's someone I was with for quite a while, quite a long time, and it wasn't a good breakup, a good parting. But as time went on, I began to see the gift that they were throughout all of our being human. And I found out not too long ago that they transitioned. And I was blessed to connect with a friend of theirs who grew up with them and knew them right before they transitioned. And it made or gave me a feeling of peace. And I pulled up their picture, which I don't really do because I never look back like that. I never stalk anybody. I never sit here because I'm okay now in the relationship and marriage that I'm in. But I wanted to speak to them. Now, how could I speak to them when they're not here? In my heart, I had to talk to them. I pulled up their picture, and for about 10 minutes, I spoke to them in my heart. I saw their image, but I wanted to thank them for what they brought into my life. And I wanted to apologize for the misunderstandings that we both had of each other toward the end. And an overwhelming sense of peace and connectedness, not necessarily with the person itself, but with the situation and how it affected me and affected them, and how everything was so beautiful at the end of the day once we realized from this end of things how it looked. You see, you can see a beautiful piece of art, a sculpture, but you're seeing it from the wrong angle. But then when you walk around to the other side of it, you can realize how beautiful it is. And so that's how I made my peace. And so I feel good about that. So we never know when we have somebody in our life, what the purpose is, whether it's going to be long, whether it's going to be short, but there's always something within that connection, within that proximity, that changes our life for the better if we focus on what they did for us and what the connection did for us. And that's why I wanted to write this, because now I look back on my life in a whole new, entirely refreshed view. Not just romantic relationships, but friendships also. Listen to these words, listen to them again, and go back over them and frame it with a person who may not be in your life anymore. Even if it's something that ended on a bitter note. We're all human, but there's good in all of us, and there's a good effect that we all have on each other. I'm going to leave you with that. Much love to you all. I'm on to the next one. Let me know what you think. This is a really personal thing. Thank you so much for spending your time. I truly appreciate you. Peace.